and welcome to the tour report from Secret Golf. Well, this week our tour report is going to be a little bit different because it's going to be difficult for us to make picks for the President's Cup, but we're going to give you our big tournament preview and then we'll kind of dive into the teams and we're going to look back on a little bit of history as well. Elk, I like the fact that you're wearing your yellow today.
Oh, yeah. Team Allegiance, Diane, Australia, of course, plays a big part in the President's Cup. We have Adam Scott playing for us this week. We lost a couple by the live people. I was watching Golf Channel to try to catch up on some of this, and they were talking about, Leishman, Answer, Joaquin Neiman off our team, and also the American teams. Like, they don't need any more weaponry over there on that side. But of course, I'm here with you today in yellow.
Well, we're going to dive into the President's Cup this year. We'll talk about the impact that Liv's had on the teams, good and bad, because there's a lot of guys that are on both teams who maybe would not be there had it not been for the Liv guys not being able to play. So we'll kind of dive into that. We have to start by talking about last week at the Fortinet Championship. And not that I want to brag, but opening the brand new season with a win.
I was texting with you. I caught the last hole of the event. I was getting ready to watch Danny Willett hit a 60-yard wedge shot in there to 2 feet, and then Max Honma came out short. You never know what's going to happen in these tournaments, but Max Honma pitched the ball into the hole for a birdie. All Danny Willett had to do was sink a 4-foot putt or a 3.5-foot putt to win the tournament. 2 putts puts him in a playoff, and he 3-putted. It was mind-boggling and felt very bad for him. Max Honma, of course, represents Fortinet, so that was great for him. Second win in a row. Puts him in great form, great position to come to Quail Hollow this week. But no, it's just one of those endings. I don't know if I've ever seen a more shock at the ending of a golf tournament in a long time.
I gasped out loud twice, and I had Max as my outright favourite at 16-1. And when, I love the 18th being a par 5 anyway, like it just adds to the drama. And when Max put his second shot in the bunker and then didn't get up onto the green, obviously, as you said, he chipped in for birdie. But Danny Willett had 3'7". He had 2 putts to take it to a playoff, and he 3-putted from inside 4 feet to throw it away. But I said to my husband, I'm like, I'm going to come so close this week. I'm going to have Max, one of my picks, finishing second, and Taylor Montgomery, another one of my picks, he was my one to watch, finishing third. And then, of course, the drama unfolded. But very good for Davis Love III, who's the US captain this week at the President's Cup, because the only member of Team USA that was playing in Napa went on to win the tournament. So great for him. Not so reassuring for Trevor Immelman, who's captaining the international side this week.
Yeah, that very good for you. I mean, we do very well with our picks over here at Secret Golf. It's a bit of a formula that we put together, and it's working very nicely for us. Of course, we study who does well at that tournament over the last, dozen or so years, put it all together and take all the knowledge and all the inside stuff that we know. And it's working very well for us. I hope you have a formula for me this week, Diane, that mixed in together for my international team, because honestly, to be honest with you, before we even get into this, I could take the European Ryder Cup team, the Live Golf Tour, and the international team, push them together and take the best combinations out of them. Still may not beat this powerhouse US team that's stacking up this week. This is probably the best team the United States has had. I told you 2 years ago, or was it 3, when you were at Whistling Straits with your European team, that Euros may not win a Ryder Cup for quite a while with this squad that we have that I'm looking at right now here. American teams since the 50s when Hogan was on the team and Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer. This is the most stacked team I've ever seen. They got the triple whammy going for them this week, Diane. I told you about this during the week. Triple whammy is great players in great form on a course they know. And that's the triple whammy that the US has this week. It's going to be tough, but hey, I'm here to talk about it all.
And they also have the President's Cup record, which out of 13 editions of this contest, the US team has won 11 of them. 1 was a draw, and the only international win came in 1998 at Royal Melbourne when you were part of the winning team. And you talk about the triple whammy, but as you told me, back in 98, it was the international team that had the triple whammy.
Triple whammy in 98. We had a great team, good team chemistry, but more importantly, the US team's captained by Jack Nicklaus, none other than my idol, captaining the US team at Royal Melbourne. They didn't have a clue how to play Royal Melbourne. Very windy conditions the whole week that week. Craig Parry, who's one of the, let's call it the way it is, a mid-range player on the US tour. When he went to Australia, went 5-0 with Shigeki Mariyama. They were 5-0 together. Very hard to beat Craig Parry in Australia because he hits the ball so straight and low. And playing at Royal Melbourne, you have to know the angles, like playing a game of chess. And we were able to come out victorious. We had Frank Nobilo and Greg Turner, 2 New Zealanders were on our team. And for example, when the matches started, Peter Thompson, 5-time British Open champion, was our captain. We sent the New Zealanders out first because the American TV and Jimmy Roberts and everyone at NBC said that the Americans were probably going to win on this big course, Royal Melbourne, that's long and all this stuff. And we, in the team room, we said, well, look, we're gonna send our 2 New Zealanders out because we're gonna, they're gonna lose. They're gonna come in and cook us lunch, have lunch ready for when they get back. They took it so personally. They were like 2 bulldogs, Diane, and I know you know about bulldogs. They were like 2 bulldogs with a toy, and they came in with a point, and that was basically all she wrote. We went on a tear at Royal Melbourne.
Well, you won 20.5 to 11.5, which was amazing. And for you, I've been looking here, you were 36 years old at the time. You were 16th in the official world golf rankings. Obviously 98, we talk about all the success you had in your career in the 90s. So this was like your heyday time. But your partner for all of your matches was Greg Norman, and you guys just had an amazing week. It has to be a little bit weird because obviously we have this LIV controversy that's rolling on in the guys that have signed with LIV, and notably for the international side, Cameron Smith is the guy, but they're not allowed to compete in the President's Cup. It has to be kind of strange for Greg Norman to be sitting there when he was part of history for the international side.
Yeah, I think I listened today and I thought about some of the players that aren't there at the tournament this week, and particularly guys like Greg Norman, Nick Price, Vijay Singh. I saw some of the highlights, and going back to that 98 event, playing with Greg Norman in a match in Australia is just ridiculous. I mean, it's like Tiger Woods when he played with this crowd sizes, and the president of the United States was there, George Bush, the prime minister of Australia were following inside the ropes in some of the matches. We played a Saturday match, Diane, which was the biggest crowd I've ever played in front of, against the reigning 3-time World Cup champions, Freddie Couples and Davis Love, in a 4-ball match in the afternoon at Royal Melbourne between Greg Norman and I and those two. And I think we had something like 15 birdies and an eagle out of 16 holes to beat them 1-up, going 2-1 on the 17th hole. It was one of the most amazing matches, and we were lucky to get away with that one. But that was a different time. Things have changed, and there's so much controversy in the golf now. And I wonder if this event, the legitimacy of this event, will it be able to hold together? Will the international team this week be able to pull a decent effort enough because of the depth of this team? The international team is not as deep. We have players on the team that have just been there for 3 weeks. We've got 3 or 4 South Koreans. There's always a little bit of there's always a little bit of in the clubhouse whether or not we can communicate exactly the way we want to. For example, when we were in Australia, Craig Parry with Shigeki Mariyama, Peter Thompson said, whatever Craig Parry tells you to do on this golf course, you do it. Tell the interpreter, tell him that. And he said, I will. So, look, Trevor Immelman, he's an experienced player, Masters champion. He knows what he's up against. But I look down the list, Diane, at the American team, and so many natural combinations when you look at their team as far as who's going to play together, and it's just very daunting, I would think.
Yeah, and the first pairings are going to be announced on Wednesday at noon. Just quickly before we move on from 98, and maybe because the legitimacy of the President's Cup has been in question over the last couple of weeks, just because of the fact that if the world's best players aren't all playing, obviously Europeans don't count right now, but, how legitimate is a President's Cup? But where does it rank for you? That victory, obviously the only victory the international side has had against Team USA. Where does that rank for you in career highlights?
Well, very rarely do you think of trophy ceremonies when you think of wins. I don't. I tend to think more of the week and how much fun we had that week and all the camaraderie we had on that bus. And it's more of the experience you had, at the event. Now, we were on the wrong side of that shoe 3 other times. I was played in 4 President's Cups. That wasn't any fun at all. So it was great to win that one in Melbourne. It was like I said, this tournament is very lopsided on the total scoring, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out this week. Will this event be able to get stronger from here or not?
Yeah, I think that's the question on everyone's lips, and we will see how it goes down this week. Right, we're going to run through the teams then. Do you want to start with the international side or the US side? It's up to you.
Let's go with the international team.
Okay.
You want to read them, or you want me to? I'll do the internationals.
Okay, you go for it. They're your guys.
Yeah. Well, we got four South Koreans. Sung Jae-im, terrific player. Probably I ranked him, and he was the best striker of the golf ball from tee to green this year. Fairways hit, greens and hit, and chipping. So that was great. Tom Kim, who's a young guy who just won at Greensboro, his first win. So it's gonna be tough on him this week. Hideki Matsuyama, although I said South Korean, he is probably the premier player, Masters champion, Japanese player. KH Lee, tremendous player, and Siwoo Kim. All these guys are fantastic hitters of the ball. Mm-hmm. What's the combination is going to be? I would be very surprised if we didn't see 2 Koreans playing together just because they know their games very well. Corey Connors from Canada and Taylor Pendrith. Mike Weir's been brought in to sort of captain those guys. Christian Buisenhout. You say it better than me. You were waiting for me to mess that up today.
Bezadenhout.
Thank you. Mito Pereira could have been the current PGA. Okay.
Mito Pereira.
Mito Pereira could have been the current PGA champion at Southern Hills without just a slight miss hit on 18 into the creek. Diane cost him a double bogey. Sebastian Munoz, terrific player. Cam Davis and Adam Scott, the Aussies at the end. Diane, it makes me almost like cringe when I'm not even knowing the correct pronunciation of some of our players. That's how young our team is. That's how inexperienced we are.
Well, it's fair to say, I'm just looking at the overall betting odds for each team. The international team are plus 750 to win. Team USA is minus 700 to win. So that kind of tells you 20 to 1 if you think it's going to be a draw. Again, very difficult situation. First team to 15.5 points wins the President's Cup. But you're right, a very young team when it comes to experience. And we had a look at the record of past President's Cups. And we have Sung Jae-im and we have Hideki Matsuyama and Adam Scott, obviously the overwhelming veteran. And that's really it. Everyone else, this is all going to be new to them, which there's 2 sides to it. Like, maybe it's a case of they're going to step up to the plate and maybe ignorance is bliss. It's a good thing not to know what they're heading into. But as you say, we're playing it on a big course with Quail Hollow.
They know what they're heading into.
We also had a look at their best finishes around Quail Hollow. Hideki Matsuyama has finished 5th here before. Adam Scott has finished 3rd. That's kind of it. That's really, even Sung Jae-im, his best finish at Quail was T31. So we don't have a huge amount of past performance when it comes to President's Cup and these team events. And we don't have a huge amount of experience and great results around the course. So nothing is on the side of the international team. Let's be real about it.
Yeah, I mean, when you get into these team events and you have the caliber of players that are trying to win a point together, either in four ball or foursome, you know that you could put a team together and win a point. You could do that. It could happen. Absolutely. Anyone could do it. You and I could have a day and win a point off, maybe not the US team, but anyway. Point being, it's the depth that's going to cost the international team the chance to pick up a win this week, Diane. The US team, I don't even know how you put them out. I don't even know who you leave sitting at home each day when you start to, look down their list. Why don't you introduce that team? It's almost the same team with a couple more strengths than you had at Whistling Straits.
I will. And Siwoo Kim, he's played in a President's Cup before as well, just before we move on. Right, well, looking at the US team, are you ready for this? Because it is jam-packed. We have Xander Schauffele, who is one of the hottest players in the world right now when you look at how he's been performing lately. Cameron Young making his rookie appearance, but after the way that he's...
Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and especially the way that he's played in the majors, then, a force to be reckoned with. Scotty Scheffler, I mean, doesn't really need much introduction. You had made a great point to me yesterday that he was a captain's pick for the Ryder Cup last September, and look what has happened to him since then. So wild.
Slightly controversial back then, by the way, where they were saying, we should have picked Kevin Na to be instead of Scotty Scheffler. Remember when Na had a nice tour championship and people were saying, Scheffler doesn't deserve it. He's got a loose swing and his feet move all over the place. And I don't think he should go to Whistling Straits. And look at us now.
There we go. Justin Thomas, who won the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow in 2017. Colin Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay, Tony Finau, again, looking at Cantlay and Finau, guys that have been in great form lately. Billy Horschel, huge honour for him to be playing for Team USA, and you know that he's just going to relish every second of this. Sam Burns, Max Homa, who just won last week at the Fortinet and has won the Wells Fargo Championship at Quail Hollow before too. Jordan Spieth and Kevin Kisner, again, another one who is...
Match play champion. Match play champion, world match play champion.
Always thrives in this kind of environment. He's like the Ian Poulter in that sense. But again, for Kisner to be part of Team USA, he was, there was rumours that he was maybe a little bit overlooked for the Ryder Cup US team as well, in the form that he had been in right about that time. So their team is utterly stacked. There's no two ways about it. They're stacked with guys that are the world's best, that are in great form, that have winning form around this course. And
triple whammy. The triple whammy.
Yeah, it could be a quadruple whammy. They have everything going for them. So it's, and they have team experience. When I look at that board, it's very easy for me to see two great friends playing together, Thomas and Spieth, in a match, and it's easy to see Xander Schauffele will play with Patrick Cantlay, two of the best two players, and that's without even using your number one player in the world, Scotty Scheffler. I don't even know how you put these teams together for Davis Love. That's going to be his trick. I mean, I think there's some very obvious pairings. I think you would definitely put Xander and Patrick Cantlay together. They had the Ryder Cup thing going on. They're really good friends on and off the course. I think would you do Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas together?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know. The only thing that could happen in this match, Diane, would be that Davis Love knows how lopsided this is, and he may play some rookies early to see if he can. Does he actually have an ounce of fiber in his body where he would like to see this close after a few days? Because he could. You and I talked about how this thing may start, and it's foursomes match, meaning they only play one ball between two players. And I look at our players, and you start to think of good drivers of the ball like Adam Scott. He'll probably get out there, maybe with Cam Davis, the Australians. I don't know if it'll be a matchup with the countries playing together, meaning the Canadians might tee off together, etc. Hideki Matsuyama, we'll see him for sure. The only strategy that I can think of that Trevor Immelman must imply, and if he was listening, which he won't, would be he's got to take his best players and put them out first.
Yeah.
The only chance he has is he's got to have his absolute top teams first off to try to beat. Maybe Davis plays some of his real guns in the back of the first day just to kind of solidify everything, and maybe put a few rookies out front. If we can put our best players up forward and get a couple of points, it could push the energy of the team up somewhat. It's still a massive mountain, Diane, but if he sits back and puts his best players in the back, Trevor Illman, it's over, because the guys up front are going to get smoked.
Okay. Let's look at the format quickly. So Thursday, as you said, is foursomes or alternate shot. There's going to be 5 foursomes matches on Thursday. Friday's 4-ball or best ball. Again, another 5 matches on Friday. On Saturday, there's going to be 4 foursomes in the morning, and then 4 4-ball matches in the afternoon. And then Sunday is the big day where we have 12 singles matches, and I don't think it really matters what has happened before that, i.e. if the international team do start hot. I think that when it comes to those singles matches on Sunday, on paper it looks like it's going to be a US whitewash, but we'll see. But I think that by the time it gets to Sunday, we're going to be looking to wrap this up pretty quickly, let's be honest. Yeah,
and it's interesting when we talk about this course. It's so beautiful behind you there, Diane. They've changed the routing of this course. It's very interesting. The history of the President's Cup tells us that most of the matches are over on the 15th or 16th hole. So history says that. So they've tweaked this course. I'm looking at the most beautiful hole you've ever seen there, number 7 right behind you, a par 5 that everybody will be able to go for in 2. A lot of drama will be there. But the green mile, Diane, 16, 17, and 18, they want that in play. So once you play 7, that little hole behind you, and number 8, a short, drivable par 4, a lot of action could go on there. Instead of going to the 9th, they jump over and they play the 12th, 13, 14, 15, all the way around. So the 18th hole normally will now be the 16th, where historically everything finishes. So we will get to see those last 3 holes. And then if there's anything left after that, they'll go back and play 10, 11, and number 9 will be the new routing. So very interesting the way they've done it. But look, Quail Hollow sets up, as I just said there, that one you can go on in 2 par 5. The next hole, number 8 there, is a drivable par 4. There's another one on the back 9. There's par 5. There's going to be birdies. There's going to be great shots all over. There's no rough. The U.S. had the opportunity to set this course up. Davis Love has elected to keep the rough down so his team can smoke it off the tee and make birdies everywhere. And that's the prerogative. That's the way this team works when you have the home field advantage.
Yeah, and it is a big hitters course, and that's definitely a strength of the US team. So, as you say, they're going to utilise that. But when we see the Wells Fargo Championship played in May, weather's obviously very different, now looking at the end of September. So, what impact is that going to have on the course? I was reading about the Bermuda rough. As you say, they're not going to play the rough up so much. But, I read that the greens are going to be playing pretty firm and fast.
Yeah, I think my friend Steve Rintoul, rules official, said the course is absolutely mint. It's just the best it's ever been. So I think Thursday is the first day of fall, and I don't think of another place in the United States in the South in the fall when it can be better, prettier, drier, little chill in the air, maybe. And it's going to be Quail is one of the greatest courses ever to either play or to watch golf.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a few I was looking at the odds because obviously, as we said, the Team USA are minus 700 to win and the internationals are plus 750. So it's not like we can give picks out right now. But there was a few lines that I wanted to get your opinion on. You did say that if you were the captain, you would stack Thursday. So you would have best guys coming out hot in the hope of getting some very valuable points on the board. For the internationals to lead after day 1, they're plus 350. Do you like those odds?
No, I don't. I need a lot more than that.
Well,
when I look at our team, Diane, and I think, okay, if I'm going to go with my prediction, I'm going to take my 3 most experienced players on my team. which would be Hideki Matsuyama, the Masters champion. He will be on a team, and Hideki will be picking the guy that he wants to, with Trevor Immelman, of course, probably saying, hey, I think this is my best bet right here, this guy, whoever that is. Yeah. Adam Scott with another Masters champion will probably be another group, and he could be with the young Cam Davis, great putter. Adam, of course, is probably one of the premier drivers of the golf ball. He'll be teeing off probably, we'd want him on the odd holes now because the 18th is a odd hole. And then my third player, I'm kind of struggling with. I'd say it's Sungjae Im would be the best striker on the team, and he would probably play with another Korean player of his choosing. To, when you think of Trevor Immelman, can he put 3 teams together out of the 5 matches in the morning to get 2.5 points, Diane? Could we get a push out of the morning match? I mean, that's where we're at on this. Now, look at it from the other way around. Whew, Davis Love could set it up to win all 5. I mean, this just depends how it's how we're looking here.
Yeah, well, if you like Adam Scott to be the top point scorer for the international team, he's plus 650. Those are slightly better odds. Is there anyone else that you're looking at on the international team that you think is in good form, could go out there and be the kind of champion of the team?
Well, what you really need in cup matches is you need really top pressure putters. Mm-hmm. You've always got to make a 3-footer, or you're going to make a 20-footer to win a hole. And I'm not a negative person, as you know, but and I've got the stats in front of me, I don't have a lot of green on my board. Now, there's some great putters on the U.S. team. Xander's number 8, yeah. Scheffler's number 4, Thomas is number 3, Sam Burns is number 5. I mean, we haven't even mentioned Sam Burns. I mean, he won 3 times this year, and we've just blown by him. It's like he's not even on the team. But the best putter on our team up there is 34th, which is Adam Scott, which I would say that's an anomaly. He's not the 34th putter on tour, and Cam Davis. Mm-hmm. So everyone else, or 37th up here at Tom Kim, and he's only got stats for like 30 rounds. So yeah. We are not stacked with putters on our team. We're stacked with more sort of, I want to say, mid-range.
You mentioned Tom Kim, and we obviously saw him get his win. He's so young. He has Ricky Fowler's old caddy on his bag this week, Joe Scoveron, which I thought was quite a cool touch, because obviously Joe has been so used to playing on Team USA for so many Ryder Cups, President's Cups. So he's got good experience to help one of the young international rookies when it comes to playing in this format, and especially playing on a course that he knows well.
Yeah, and anytime you can have someone on your team that's going to help you or make you feel better. There's a lot of pressure in President's Cups, Ryder Cups, and it's very intense. When you get started. Once you get out there, it's golf is golf, and you got to play, you got to hit shots, and that's what it's all about. And this is I don't know if there's ever been an more overmatched match in golf, and that's being dead truthful. Like I said at the top of the show, I could take the European Ryder Cup team and the Live Golf Tour and squish it all together and probably put up a really good fight against this American team, honestly.
Yeah, and this American team, similar to the team that we saw at the Ryder Cup, they're a young team with a huge amount of potential to dominate for a long, long time. You're
going to have some heartbreak over this team. I'm looking at Europeans are going to have some heartbreak over this. That'll be another show.
Another show, exactly. Right, Elk, thank you. So President's Cup kicks off on Thursday. I was all ready for it to be a 3-day thing, but unlike the Ryder Cup, we get 4 days of President's Cup action at Quail Hollow. And then next week, we'll be back with our normal tour report to talk about the Sanderson Farms as we go with week 2 of the new PGA Tour season.